Good evening, everybody, from a sweltering Shuttleworth Park here in Amsterdam, New York. This is Adam Agresta bringing you Amsterdam Mohawks baseball up against the East Division rival Oneonta Outlaws, who the Mohawks sent to a 9-2 loss last night in Oneonta at Damski Field. In that game, Elvis Peralta Jr. for the Mohawks hit his third home run of the season. That now gives him the club lead. It was a 3-run home run in the fourth. Also highlights from last night, Mike Antico had 2 hits and 2 runs scored. Michael Ludwig out of Wake Forest went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and Cole Barr out of Indiana went 3 for 3 with a walk, an RBI, and a run scored. So all around, a solid hitting night for the Mohawks, who have had struggles at points at the plate. We have learned that currently right now, former Mohawk from the season, Sam Prater out of Alabama, has since gone home. He currently is suffering from a concussion, so we hope and wish him a speedy recovery. We aren't sure if he's completely closed out his Mohawks career here. That remains to be seen, but for now, he is not on our roster. Starting tonight at catcher will be Matt Padre, and of course we've seen a couple of other guys get behind the dish for the Mohawks this season. But we will now introduce you to the starting lineups for tonight's game between the now in sole possession of first place Amsterdam Mohawks and the Oneonta Outlaws. Just to give you a little insight on that, the Mohawks are currently 12-9, good enough for first in the Eastern Division. They beat Oneonta last night 9-2. And they are now a full game ahead of Oneonta, who is sitting at 10-9. So they've played 2 less games than the Mohawks and are 2 games behind in the win column, along with the Albany Dutchmen, who also sit in second place with a 10-9 record. Behind those teams in fourth place is Saugerties with an 11-10 record. So they are also considered 1 game back, but their winning percentage is lower than the previous 2 teams. And now in last place, having lost 5 in a row, is the Glens Falls Dragons at 10-13. They are 2-8 in their last 10, so they've seen a little bit of a dive happening. As the Mohawks now have won 3 in a row, so kind of a tale of 2 tapes here in the East in a division that was only separated by half a game only 3 days ago. It has now gotten a little bit more clear and will probably continue to take that stretch as the Mohawks today get another quality arm back in Zane Stevens. He is coming off of a suspension after last Sunday's postponement in that game against Saugerties, which was postponed in the 4th. So it has yet to be finished. It will be completed on July 10th here at Shuttleworth Park as part of the first leg of a doubleheader. But in that game, Zane Stevens ended up hitting a player with a pitch. The player charged the mound. This is for people who haven't seen it. There are videos around. And unfortunately, luckily no one, it seemed like, was seriously injured in that exact portion. But Stevens was suspended for a start, and the other player was suspended as well, who had charged the mound. So now Zane is back. It's good to see. As we have the Mohawks being introduced on the field right now, I'll go through the lineups for you quickly. First, for the visiting Oneonta Outlaws, batting first, the catcher from Penn State University, number 1, Derek Orndorff. Batting second, the second baseman out of Georgia College, number 12, Cassius Young. Batting third, the shortstop from the Bulldogs of Georgia, number 7, Steve Minter. Batting cleanup, the left fielder from the Mountaineers of West Virginia, number 24, Nick DeNicola. Batting fifth at third base from Towson University, number 13, Noah Cabrera. At designated hitter, batting sixth from the Eastern Kentucky Hilltoppers, number 18, Logan Thomason. And batting seventh for the Outlaws, the first baseman from the Golden Eagles of SUNY Brockport, number 36, Anthony Eaton. Batting eighth, the right fielder from Washington Lee University, number 4, Kyle Rudicelli. And batting ninth from the Great Danes of UAlbany, center fielder, number 8, Kenny Hayden. We will take a short pause here for the national anthem. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem there. As now we have our baseball buddies running off of the field. And the Mohawks will now wait for the first pitch people for tonight here at Shuttleworth Park. At Shuttleworth Park today, there was an event which is known as Park Fest, which is kind of a block party that has several stands, people selling stuff, people selling food. We had little games, had some bounce houses here. Usually it's always a great time at Shuttleworth Park regardless, but today was a little bit great day to bring the kids out. Unfortunately, it was really hot today, so we probably didn't see as many people as in the past on Park Fest nights. However, we are very thankful for everyone who has come out today to see the Mohawks, and we're thankful for everyone listening. If you're a parent of a player, if you're a relative just interested in the PGCBL, thank you every night for tuning in. If you do so, as we have our first pitch people happening, I will give you the lineup for the hometown Amsterdam Mohawks. Batting first, the center fielder from St. John's University, number 6, Mike Antico. Batting second, the right fielder out of Wake Forest, number 33, Michael Ludwig. Batting third, the first baseman from the Bulls of South Florida, number 31, Joe Genord. Batting cleanup, the catcher from Manhattan College, number 37, Matt Padre. Batting fifth, the third baseman from the University of Indiana Hoosiers, number 2, Cole Barr. Batting sixth, the designated hitter from Wake Forest University, number 39, Shane Muntz. Batting seventh, the left fielder from Moorhead State College, number 14, Jake Hammond. Batting eighth, the second baseman from Florida Atlantic University, number 9, Richie Nitza. And batting ninth, the shortstop from the Thundering Herd of Marshall, number 1, Elvis Peralta Jr. On the mound for the Mohawks will be number 12, Zane Stevens out of Mississippi State, as mentioned, making his return after his brief suspension of one start. And he will begin his warm-ups here. Facing off against Stevens on the other side of the mound will be the U Albany Great Dane, number 14, Dan Yankowski. He is a sophomore at U Albany. And we will get a little bit more into his stats and prior starts so far this season. But for now, we'll take a look at Zane Stevens, who's currently warming up for the top of the first. Zane's numbers so far with the this will be his fourth start, fifth appearance. He has thrown 15 innings and has given up 8 hits and only 3 runs, and only 2 of those runs are earned. He's walked 7, he's struck out 13. He's 2-0 with a 1.20 ERA. Unfortunately, the ERA does not qualify for league leaders, as you need to appear in at least 80% of you would have to appear in as many innings as the number of 80% of the games played for your team. So to put that into perspective, the Mohawks have played 21 games. If you multiply that by 0.8, which would give you 80% of that number, it would be, I believe, 17. So say it would be 17 something. He only has 15 innings pitched. So after tonight, he will probably qualify for that stat. So we'll have to then rework it from there. But so far, qualifying people who are eligible for that, our ERA leader at 21 innings pitched is Zach Durant out of Herkimer with a 1.28 ERA. He had a nice start here Friday, as the first batter, Derek Orndorff, out of Penn State, steps in, as that one is in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. And it actually looks like we have Parker Hendershot in, as that curveball is swung and a missed. It's 0-2. Hendershot is also out of Penn State. But just to make sure we have that correct. That's Orndorff? I know, but he's on our roster as 1. As that one misses low and inside, it's 1-2. We're thinking, because we think we've had this issue before, we're pretty sure that that is Derek Orndorff, as the 1-2 from Stevens will be cut on and missed. He was spun around regardless of who his actual identity is. The Oneonta batter is retired for batting second will be Cassius Young out of Georgia College. Young so far this year has a quality season working for the Outlaws. He leads them in at bats with, he's 23 for 74 with a 311 clip. That one is on the outside corner for 0-1. He has scored 16 runs, which is good enough for second on the team. He's hit 4 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs, and has 16 RBIs, which also leads the squad, as that one misses inside, and it's 1-1 now to Young. However, Young has also made 5 errors in the field, which leads the squad for Oneonta. That curveball is low, skips away from Matt Padre, but doesn't matter. No one's on base, and it's 2-1. Now, it can't really be any more emphasized how important these games in the division are to the Mohawks, especially with the way that the playoff format works, as that one they check at first base to see if Young swung, but he did not. That curveball is low, and it's 3-1. But the Mohawks getting these games over teams like Oneonta and Albany and Glens Falls are absolutely vital, because then they can drop games in other divisions and still have those division games in hand, as that one is fouled right at the plate and it makes the count full. Because with the way that the new playoff format works is that every division gets to send 2 teams to the playoffs. So whatever your top 2 teams that finish are, and there are several tiebreakers. Usually, of course, you go by winning percentages. That one is cut on and missed by Young, and he's down with the second out of the first inning. That'll bring up Steve Minter out of the University of Georgia. But it is a 7-team playoff. The top 2 teams from each division make it, and then there's one more team that makes it based off of which PGCBL team has the best record. That curveball is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 here to Minter. Stevens doing a great job so far of getting first pitch strikes. And the 0-1 is popped up. Coming in is the right fielder Ludwig, and he'll settle under it to make the catch and retire the side. As a quick 1-2-3 inning here for Zane Stevens will send us to the bottom of the first. You are listening to the Amsterdam Mohawks Radio Network here on YouTube Live. Mike Antico will lead off the bottom of the first here for the Mohawks. As I was saying about the PGCBL playoff format this year, it'll be a 17 playoff. Top two teams in each division make it, and the last team will be the third place team in the division with the team that has the best record. So right now that would be the Jamestown Jammers in the Western Division. As that first pitch, Antico is lined out to center, chasing the center fielder Hayden back, but he will make the catch for the first out, as Antico is quickly retired. That will bring up Michael Ludwig, the right fielder out of Wake Forest. So that would mean that currently, if the season ended today, The Elmira Pioneers, sitting at 8-15, would be the last playoff team, and the Oneonta Outlaws sitting at 10-9, the Saugerty Stallions sitting at 11-10, and the Utica Blue Sox sitting at 11-12 would all miss the playoffs. As that first pitch is low for a ball, and it's 1-0. On the mound for the Oneonta Outlaws is Dan Yankowski. That curveball's in there for the 1-1. His stats so far on the year, he is making his 4th start here for the Outlaws, as that one is chopped down the first base line. Fielding it will be the pitcher, Yankowski. As he spikes the ball, gets really upset, and it looks like he's hurt. It looked like maybe Michael Ludwig could have cleated him, as Yankowski was trying to beat him to the bag and run past him. And yeah, it looks like that's exactly what it is. You could hear Yankowski yell and throw his glove down, as we currently have the Oneonta coaching staff checking up on him. As I didn't see a call from the first base umpire, I'm not sure. I would expect that Michael Ludwig's out for the second out. As we now have our trainer, Carla, out there tending to Yankowski. I was going to read off how Yankowski is making his 4th start. He's thrown 16 1/3 innings for the Outlaws. He's given up 14 hits and 9 runs. Only 5 of them are earned, however. And he also has walked 6 and struck out 10. He has a 2.75 ERA. He is 1-1 on the year, as now they give him a couple of warm-up pitches to try and make sure that he's all right. I think that's what it was. He was just cleated. It was just more of a pain thing than a big injury thing, hopefully, as he has a high leg kick that he also does in his motion. So I'm sure if he plants on that, they have to make sure that he's good to do that repeatedly.